Hello, and welcome back. Namaste programs. It has been 5 months since I played this. So I'm going to have trouble remembering what I'm doing, but yeah. Need to get back into it. Checking all the settings look right. Okay. I think you can hear me. I think you can hear the game. Let's load. Where were we? It was an autosave. We'll do the actual manual save. Well, let's go. Can't put more points in a skill. Drugs raise learning caps, but they're bad for your health. Right. Okay, so let's just see what we're up to with everything. Some empathy, because from memory I failed a couple of empathy rolls. Okay, all right, fair enough. Ledger of failure. And hatred. Okay. Here we go. So, still need to do the end of day debrief with Kim. Balcony after 2200. What time is it right now? Not 2200 yet. Have I talked to this woman? She returns to her magazine. Okay. What's the magazine she's reading? Before we go on, what is this fritter? What magazine are you reading? Let's proceed. I have some questions for you. Before we go on, what is this fritter? Oh, it's fret. She shrugs. And what is fret? And why is it written with 3 T's? She chews on her gum with disgust. The story goes that normal Frit with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Frit Retail Incorporated grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement. Don't think that would be enough to avoid trademark. If I do Apple with 3 P's, I'm still infringing their trademark. But anyway, this is a different universe or world or time or something. What magazine are you reading? She looks at the cover, boasting a colourful photo of 2 girls kissing. Oh, it's not for sale. Oh, I like your accent. Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you. Stupid famous people, I approve of this, very futuristic. Tap on the girls kissing. Forget all about that. What is this fashion police feature? Point at the cover. I'm not even interested in that magazine. I don't know why I asked about it. All right, here's where we need to think about, am I role-playing of what I understand about this guy, or am I role-playing as me? I feel like this guy wouldn't be interested in the magazine, although it speaks to you. I think we'll have to go point at the cover. Think about all that. What is this fashion police feature? She stops to think. Who's the numero uno guy in there right now, and does he look like this? Point at yourself. Point to her hat. I bet your hat would take the prize. So who's the most stylish there? It can't be anyone from here. I'm gonna be all sleazy and flatterer. Failure. And abject failure and hatred. The lieutenant looks at you. Yeah, but we could be the fashion police as well, Kim. All right, let's proceed. I have some questions for you. He puts down the magazine. Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of the Whirling in Rags? Can you tell me anything about the dead body? Can you tell me anything about this reality we're in? Can you tell me anything about this reality we're in? Reality? You mean what reality? economic reality, or... She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question? Yes, tell me about the economic reality, or no, I meant the physical reality. No, I meant the physical reality. I don't know. What about it? I'm going to stop reading all these out. I'm just going to read out the one that I'm going to pick. So there might be a bit of a pause. Where are we? We're in for it? No, I meant where are we on a larger scale? As mankind, or as a nation, or... What will her essay prompt be? Like, where in the world? We're in Revachol, like on the Insulindian Isola? And I was just testing your knowledge. That wasn't very hard. She folds her magazine back. What time is it? I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall. The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work. What is the revolution? When ordinary people take over the government and demand democracy? What about the one what about the one we had here in Revachol? Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. At history, I mean. The coalition, what's that? Someone told me there is one. Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article. She taps the magazine on the counter. I won't bother you with this nonsense anymore. Cool. She seems happy to return to her reading. Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of the Whirling in Rags? A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does. Come on, give me something to work with here. She looks up from under her brow. Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here, okay? She turns back to her magazine without waiting for you to respond. Can you tell me anything about the dead body? I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Do you know the man who died? Not really. Not really? Does it mean you knew him a little? No, I didn't know him at all. How long has it been there? I don't know. Really long? What do you think happened? I don't know. No need to worry, Kim says. The lieutenant's voice is soothing and professional. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay? Okay, she scratches her nose. Thank you for your help. Uh-huh. She brushes a strand of hair off her face and tries to return to her magazine. Leave. Okay, did that forward the clock on a bit? I still haven't figured out the clock. I think it moves on when something moves on. All right. What was there was a button for... There we go. Tab. So what's this? Shimmering wall of vices. A colourful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles lines the shop wall, inviting you closer. Deception. The bottles wink at you in the light. The smokes, too, glitter in their wrapping. It's like looking into a kind of heaven. Your knees are weak. Electrochemistry. There, in that dark green glass, a world of ruby, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine alcohol, beer alcohol, love alcohol. Say nothing, just take it in. The beauty, the truth, the poetry of it all. The clerk sees you eyeing the goods behind her. I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health, she comments, but I guess you already know that. Let's see. Please tell me more about these products. The Pale Age vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it super expensive and super strong. What is pale? You know, she shrugs, uninterested in explaining it further. Thanks for your answer. Sure, she tilts her head back at the shelf. So you're going to buy anything, or you sell any under-the-counter vices? No, she fixes her hair underneath her cap. Frit only sells legal drugs, like the law says. Okay, I don't have enough money for anything, and nor would I think that I have to save my money for the time being, I think, in order to pay off the hotel. We'll just leave it here. Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals logo. Encyclopedia. Their logo is the bloodless rose, pure white, untouched by harm. Britta Clerk, just asked me if you need anything from St. Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Dramamine, magnesium, and Hypnogamma. I could get a Nosafed and magnesium, but I don't think I need them just yet. I'll know that they're here if I need to buy them, though. Okay, good to know. What's this, an ATM? It's a tear machine. The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says one bottle, 10 cents. What is this machine? The clerk looks up out of her magazine. Oh, that's the tear machine. Yes, but what is it? She knits her brow confused. It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like bottles or whatever, and put it in the machine. Then it gives you money. I see. And how do I pick up tear for this for the tear machine? You need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but we gave them all out, so she shrugs awkwardly. Feel free to use it if you find a bag, though. I'm sure there are some out there. She points outside, somewhere. Okay, I do remember that. I have to find a bag in order to pick up rubbish. All right, I don't need to talk to him just yet. Let's go back outside. Double click to run. Press space to stop. Okay, so that was that racist dude from memory, even though it's been 6 months. Can't talk to any. Oh, hang on, here we go. Let's. Oh, there's a bin here. What have we got here? Magnesium. All right, we don't need to heal just yet. So what's going on over here? We've got something here. Well, let's just go left. Always left to right. Them's the rules. Call me mañana. Scab asks a man with jolly eyes tilting his head. You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time. What exactly is a scab? You don't seem to like them much. He looks at the mass, squinting his eyes as if trying to ascertain what they're scared of. Nod. Have you tried talking to them? I'm not a scab. I'm a cop. His smile deepens his wrinkles even more. He chuckles, then realizes I'm a bit short of money right now. Can you give me some of it? Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out. He flips a coin towards you. All right. 58%. Red check cannot be retried. Try to catch it. Failure. Abject failure. The coin narrowly slips by your outstretched fingers and falls to the ground. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbour folk do, passing around cargo and such. He rubs the back of his head. Was not meant as provocation or ridicule. Lieutenant Kitsuragi picks up the coin and hands it to you. Appreciated. All right, so that answers my question. Right, so that's 1 real and then 0.15. And I need like 30 or 50 or 60, I forget what it was. Right, always glad to help out the RCM. We're on the same branch, you and I. Humans, I mean, not slithering scabs. What's the strike about anyway? You know, serious business, he smiles. I'm sure the big boss would be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first. Rhetoric, he's a chatty guy, wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you now. Hey, you're the man in boots at the gates. Kuno said you know about the armor. Ha, he smiles. The little boy did a good on his promise. His promise? To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me. Pardon the choice of words, not mine. What happened? I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it. Did you? At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strikes. But a few more days under the sun, you know? I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere. The cop's in his pocket and he's the king of Jamrock. Served me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. He smiles. One bad move is all it takes. The probe into the armor, what did you learn? I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk union man about some armor. What else? Not much, technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part. So Kuno used you to what? Scare you? Used us to... So Kuno used us to what? Scare you? It's a minor nuisance, it's all good. He contemplates taking a swig from his flask. What sort of technical stuff? I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library, he explains with a wry smile. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off. How does it come off? In parts, 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw, too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing, the gauntlets and the cuirass. Which is where I left off. Too much hassle, more like a job for some militia. Hold up, 4 pieces? Helmet, cuirass, gauntlets, boots? What about the leggings? Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore if they ever did at all. He gives you a jolly shrug. Forget about them. I did. I'm going to find all of it. I'm ambitious. I'm going to find all of it. All the pieces. All of it? The lieutenant raises his brow. There are junior officers out there eager to prove themselves. I would leave some for them, and I would leave the boots to processing. But okay, let's find all of it. I may have just given myself more work. It's implied he finds it unlikely that you'll succeed in this. Well, then probably true. A mesqui's epic then, all across Martinez. He glances south, or that says Guy glances south. He glances south where the canal runs. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you. Thank you for the cooperation, sir. No problem. He finally takes a swig from the flask. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Manana. Thank him for showing me the way. I need to get past the gates and speak with your boss. Oh, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everett? He might have information about a killing that took place behind the hostel. Everett's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, eh? Doesn't often dole it out though, but sure, why not? Does this mean you can let me through the gate? I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. He takes a swig and points up the stairs with his flask. The passage grants itself. If it's all so simple, why don't the strike breakers just go up the stairs? That's simple? I just walk in? I walk right past Measurehead and go in. Past Measurehead? Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. He points to the bridge above the gates. Walk right past him. Right? Then press the button to unlock the door. Aha. Then go past him again. Okay. And you enter the harbour through the office. Esta. So you're saying it's actually quite difficult. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure Head in a physical confrontation. Or you can convert him to his Semini supremacist worldview. Or you could convert to his Semini supremacist worldview. Or, he strokes his moustache, maybe it actually is completely impossible. Has anyone here ever bested him in a physical confrontation? Not yet, no. He fixes his eyes on you, evaluating your prowess. He's incredibly strong. Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview? Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition. Got it. Another thing? Sure, the man whistles a jaunty tune, the wind rustling his whiskers. Nice talk, gotta get moving. So, oh, it looks like Kim wants to chat. I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet. You should take care of that then, but I don't have the money. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out. Although I think I'm Hobocop, right? Didn't I pick Hobocop at some point? Alright, so what have we got here? Pay for damages. Try negotiating with the cafeteria manager. Kuno lied to you. Return to confront him. Okay. Get boots off victim's feet. And find... This might take a while. This might take a long while. Right. So that might not be something I ever do. This might take some time. Alright, so we're trying to negotiate. So what have we got here? I am Hobocop. I'm learning bow collector. I'm -1 and +1 minus. Okay, fine. Fine, good to know. Let's do a quick save. $14. Alright, well, so I wonder whether the trick to get past that guy is you actually just meant to go past him on the right. But what else have we got here? That's probably a way out. Well, let's just call it a day. Like, if Kim thinks I should call it a day, well, I should listen to the bastard, right? Need to pass time? Buy a book. Reading passes time quickly. Alright, we need to talk to the manager again. Who's this dude? Have I talked to him before? He's not a dude I can talk to. Hello, it's me again. So about that money I owe. Yes, have you got it? I was wondering if we could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight. Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me? Oh, Kim is about to say something. Let him. He adjusts his glasses. I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we're here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business. Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and he stops mid-sentence. I mean no offense, it's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Hold on, I still have my key, you know. Good luck trying to use it. He taps his foot against the metal box installed on the back of the counter. Draconian measures. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it? Not until you bring me the money. Okay, he turns to you with a heavy sigh. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here. Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Goodbye. So, Kim has offered to help go to his motor carriage in front of the whirling. Well, let's do that. Police work is tough. Take breaks, talk to strangers, explore. Talk to the car. Inside you see a set of steering levers, radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox and a soft blower with fuel preheater gauge. I have something here we could sell. Look in the back in the suspect transport enclosure. Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. Look in the suspect transport enclosure. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark. I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. What are those things? They're spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, he makes a spinning motion with his hands. The caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity. Honestly, that sounds like an amazing physics demonstration. What do you mean you confiscated them? A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son, and high. So you took his spinners? He nodded. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence. I get it. I would have confiscated them too. They're mesmerizing. That they are, the lieutenant looks at the spinners and sighs. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. Did you want to put these spinners on your machine? Point at Kanema. No, that would be silly. He hesitates. I don't know why I kept them, it doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners, that would be outrageous. Yes, outrageously cool. He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark. I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me. As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I had these things earlier. You said something about a pawn shop. Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late. Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy. Thanks, I appreciate your help. Take the spinners. I feel bad. The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. Close the door and leave. So, I now have radiant spinners, 200. Pen, handkerchief, empty cassette tape. How do I know if they're sellable or not? Okay. Alright, understood. Take spinner hubcaps to local pawn shops south of the plaza. Okay, so is south this way? I already looked at this. An ancient fountain, it doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. Tire tracks leading onto the roof. The slush and rain has almost washed them off. So where's this south then? Plastic wrapped macaronis stamped with humanitarian aid. This says humanitarian aid tuna fish, not for resale. This says speakers from the people of Samara. This says food gift from the people of Messina. A helpline to the company that controls the drawbridge. What drawbridge? He says, hot air rises up from the sewer, sour, acidic, and strangely comforting. Okay. Roy's Pawn Shop. Fast cash for faster times. Let's do it. Okie dokie. What the? Oh, that's Roy, is it? Welcome to the pawn shop. Some kind of machine, an antique cash register? A bust of a woman. The plaque simply says day. In the dark, a film projector is whirling away. Mostly military wear with a few more eccentric fashions thrown in. Rack of second-hand uniforms. Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding towards you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Heimdall burning. Helmdall burning. The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar. Sniff the t-shirt. Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there? Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin. Sniffing is okay, says the shopkeeper, and please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things you're not going to buy. What's the deal with the man on this t-shirt? It's the man from Helmdall. Walking away from his burning village, yes? I'm guessing I'm supposed to know who this man from Helmdall is, but I lost my memory recently and need help remembering basic facts about reality. Huh? I said I lost my memory recently and need help remembering basic facts about reality. Oh, I see. That's tough, man. I feel the same way sometimes. The man from Helmdall is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Katla. In fact, he leans in, most people don't think that the man from Helmdall ever really existed, but they are wrong. The lieutenant raises a brow. Helmdall isn't a real place. Neither is the man a real man, of course, but... No, it wasn't a question. Helmdall isn't a real place. Neither is the man a real man, of course, but both the man and Helmdall are an ontological necessity. He stops abruptly. But hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about. Wow, what? What do you mean the man from Helmdall was real? I mean, even if the man from Helmdall didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple reality. It's simple, really. Okay, he sounds incredulous. You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Katla, though not quite as far north as the Heimdall, and watched the northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there. It's for the best because Helmdall is not a real place, and thus he could not have gone there. His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting. How much are you selling this t-shirt for? 2 real. Lieutenant raises his eyebrows. That's dirt cheap. Couldn't you just give it to me for free then? He frowns. But why? Because I'm a broke cop without a cent to my name? I sympathize, I do, but this is a for-profit enterprise. Well, I don't know if I need the t-shirt, so I'm just going to let go of the t-shirt. Sawed-off streetlight. A typical matinee streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. Let your gaze run over the streetlight. The light pole has been carefully cut and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room. Is that a streetlight? Yes, officer. As you can see, it's in perfect working order. His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide. Where did you get this? It was brought to me to be altered. He leans in so the pawnbroker doesn't hear him. We're not here to investigate the theft of city property. He pauses, studying the light, then adds, You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it. How much for the streetlight? 700 real, a bargain, I dare say. Are you out of your mind? There's one just like that on every corner. He rests his elbows on the counter and brings his face closer to the glass. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag. The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2 transformations, but what about the 3rd? I get how sawing it off and redoing the wiring could add to the cost, but what else? He throws you a look of weary patience. The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light becomes suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago. The light became suitable for use. Okay, That checks out. There's nothing else you need to know about the light. Shelf of boom boxes. I need water. Water. The boom boxes on the shelf look well loved and well travelled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. Stand on the tips of your toes to see more. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. Just make sure it works before you buy it. Shopkeep, this Stereo 8 approved machine here is the Harman Waushi W02, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul. He says, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real. What I really want to know is, could this device come in handy in my police work? If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that, or any other time you'd need to play a tape. Are you sure this is all in working order? Absolutely, I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds, and music from a variety of genres. Even though, he grimaces, I don't really like music. That's odd. Why doesn't he like music? Don't like music? What do you like then? The stuff I record myself, silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by, nocturnal animals climbing on the roof, airship rotors, that kind of thing. Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more experimental sounds he's describing. Alright, I'll buy that if I need it later. Knick-knack stand. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. 92%. Dig up a truly cool figurine in the box under the table. Success. Why, what's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say FALN? What is this? Show it to the shopkeeper. Oh, that's the headless FALN rider. Who? The headless FALN rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Rover sporting a foul, I'm just going to say foul, tracksuit. As you can see, he's missing his head. He pointed at the decapitated figurine. 50 cents, bargain priced. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it or something. That part of the story has many interpretations. He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head. Well, I'll buy that later if I run into something I think I might need it for? Question mark? Inspect the knights on horseback. Big men on big horses clad in lamellar armor and carrying flintlocks. The kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye. Pointed at the knights on horseback. These are Franco-Nigerian cavalry, right? Give me that XP. I used to be very serious about my Franco-Nigerian knights. He looks at the dusty figurines in the dim light. Inspect the blue uniforms. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets. Point at the blue figurines. Are these royalist soldiers? Which ones? The man peers from his glass box. Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like bright colours indiscriminately. Inspect the figurines in rags. This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols, some even shovels and tall sticks. Point at the figurines in rags. Are these even soldiers? You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? The man behind the glass answers. Yes, they are soldiers. Revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. It is impossible to win against the cohorts of capital. Ask my friend Garter, whose bitch it made me. Okay, he doesn't bat an eye. I don't like either set too much, to be honest. Alright, cool stuff. Now we talk to him. The man at the counter turns to you slowly. He asks, His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop. Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you. He flashes a smile. Honestly, I think some of your selections are, press your fingers to your lips, more tasteful than others. He responds, unimpressed with your snobbery. He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe? White check, 92%. I'll just keep talking to him first. No, let's do it. Are you kidding? 92%. Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it and many other things besides, but you can't cut through the jumble of sensations to get to the answer. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues. Yeah, it did. It gave me a lot of clues and put me up at fucking 92%. You might be able to aid in our investigation. I doubt it, but I can try to answer any questions you may have. Know anything about the recent hanging? I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone. He doesn't know anything. Know anything about the Wild Pines representative that's in town? He looks off to the side, then down at his hands. Can't say I'm a huge admirer of the Wild Pines, and I certainly wouldn't trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved. Have you met the Wild Pines rep? No, just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now, you have more questions, or are we? Ever had any dealings with Everard Clare? He's been by the shop a couple of times. He gives a lazy half shrug. There was something awfully deliberate about that laziness. Did he buy anything? He purchased a remarkably garish paperweight the first time he was here, nothing the second. Did he discuss union business with you? He tried, wanted to come to some mutually beneficial arrangement around my dealings with the dock workers. I politely declined to hear him out. So you don't know what kind of arrangement he was talking about? The lieutenant studies the pawnbroker suspiciously. As I said, I refused to talk to him. That's why he came back a second time. That's also why he hasn't come back a third. Why do I feel like you don't want to talk about him? Are you hiding something? They weren't the most pleasant interactions. Small town bigwigs always want everyone to play a part in the play they're staging. But I bowed out at some point. I prefer to watch from afar while the bigwigs come and go. I have other questions about this. He nods reluctantly. Actually, that's all I've got. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colours. By the way, do you happen to have any guns like the ones carried by officers of the citizens' militia? Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple of days back. This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to the other. Wait, I sold you my gun? You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. He hesitates. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol citizens' militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off-the-charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind. Was the buyer a policeman too? She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying. Right, so let me get this right. The lieutenant turns to you. You sold your sidearm issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sold my gun. He sighs. Yeah, it's not good. I do hope we manage to clean this mess up somehow, while also keeping our focus on the murder investigation. Any idea where I can find this buyer? My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went. A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow. At least now I know how I lost my sidearm. Let's talk about something else. Of course. There's something I'd like to sell. Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps. The lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners. Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop. He marvels at the cobalt shimmer and nods. Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter, I'll give you 200 real. No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you, the lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash. Of course, I meant no offence. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again. Thank you. He takes the cash, then turns to you. Here's the 30 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it. The rest goes in his pocket. Motherfucker. You couldn't have given me a bit more, you stingy person who was just giving me money. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. I love you, Kim. The rest is for him to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners. Well, fair enough. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Both the lieutenant and the pawnbroker turn to you. I'll check my pockets. Access your pawn menu. So, I don't know if these should be sold or not. I'd like to sell my clothes. I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. He looks you up and down quickly. I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here. Show him the photo. Oh, no, I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale. He barely even looks at it. Do you know what the tattoos mean? He frowns. Aphotic paths? Counter radiance networks? Anti-magnetism? It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter. You have absolutely no idea what aphotic paths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that. I don't have anything to sell at the moment. Alright, I have other business to take care of now. Well, what am I thinking? Suggestion. Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your copper type. Wait, there are copper types? Yes, guess what's yours? Cool cop, some kind of weapon cop, sorry cop, I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Sorry cop? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Yes, sorry cop, the cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Okay, but what are the other copper types? Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the Advanced Interesting Cop, Liquid Shadow Cop, but you're too sorry to say those things, so here we go. Won't the other copper types be jealous? What, jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine, don't worry. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual copper type from sorry to anything. You know, actually, I'm not sorry. I changed my mind. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the repentance. Alright, I'm sorry. Rigorous self-critique. Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info, or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million. That won't happen. This game, man. So, keep looking. Maybe someone else knows something. Pay for damages. Okay. We've now got rigorous self-critique. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be grovelling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Masovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat of nine tails. Whatever made you this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Fascinating. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. The question is, how would I do that? That's probably the quickest and easiest way to do that. Be back in a sec. I'm back. Just need an ice pack for my arm. It is killing me. What's the best way of doing this? Maybe like that. There we go. Ice pack connected to arm. Alright, so we can now go back and pay for our room. Alright, stop moving. How come he's not running? Double click. Doesn't run. I thought double click was run. Lied to me. Weird. Oh look, that right click does that as well. Not just tab. Oh, I see. It's hold down to run. It said double click to run before, I'm sure of it. Don't forget to click the orbs around your head. They have surprises. Oh, she's gone. Oi, you capitalist bloody blackmailing bastard, demanding I give you the money. Garter, I saw another thing at the Whirling. I've asked him about all that. So about that money I owe. Yes, have you got it? I have your money. He glares at you suspiciously. Here's 30 reals. Slam the bills down on the counter. I hope you choke on it. Here it is. Sorry for the trouble. Here it is. Sorry for the trouble. Level up. Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. He takes out his keychain and fiddles with the mechanism behind the counter. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled until 2100 tomorrow. Continue. Find money for rent and pay Garter. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow, 20 real per night. He opens his wallet. I'll take a room here too. Of course, he takes the money and hands him a keyring. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? I need a drink. Can you pour me one? Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this, he points to his empty hand. Is this a shaker? He's not a bartender. We've been through this. Say nothing. Yeah, because you're not a bartender. I feel like you've given me a hint previously, but it isn't connecting, because I'm not a bartender. I'm a cafeteria manager. Is there anything else you wanted? Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police staff. I want a fucking drink, arsehole. Well, you're not getting it. He slams his hand on the counter. Arsehole. This is a thoughtful exchange, but can we move on, please? Alright, so we have leveled up. We've got 1 point. Right, do we want to put our 1 point into something here? Or unlocking one of these, maybe? No, I think we level up something here. What is it? So we tend to be intellect. That's what we picked. We picked the smart guy. Do I put points into things that I'm lacking, or do I put points into things, trying to maximize something? What's drama? Info. At high levels, drama and inside for your thespian. No, that's not what I meant to do. Logic, maybe. Cool for analysts, pure rationalists, obvious logicians. Thinkers, historians, trivia freaks. Ideologues, conversationalists would be politicians. Creative, psychedelic fanciers, critics. Forensic scientists, tactical fighters, math-minded people. What was this one? Analyst? No, that's not me. I mean, kinda. No. Undercover cop. Psychopaths, thespians of the stage. Probably this one. Probably this one. Conceptualization has a special role it wants you to play in the world, not the role of a cop, but of the art cop. Enables you to make fresh associations to delve into world concepts from Jan Karp's postmodernist carpery. Revishol's arabesque architectural style, blah, 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 blah. We're doing it. We're going conceptualization. Why the fuck not? Boom. And find money and rent. You need 20 real every day or it will be locked. As long as you don't have a free play, you have to do this every night. Fine. Okay, when you're calling it a day. So let's go through everything. That could take a long while. That we don't know how to get the boots off. Need to take down Kuno's dad. Foam pants. Who put the clothes in the crash? This may take a while. Okay, so I need to find the Wild Pines rep, the union boss. Field now still asking about tattoos. Ah, well I can do that tomorrow. I need to talk to Kuno. All right, we're good. We're good. So how do we go up here, I suppose? Skill points can also buy new thought cabinet slots or forget old thoughts. Right, okay. So, I wonder if this woman's still around. No, I've already done all that. Where's he staying? Where's he staying? Alright, so if I go out to the balcony though, does that let me talk to, just saw there was a girl there, so that let me talk to Kim here? Question mark. Meanwhile, what happened to my ice pack? It's just ended up on the wrong side of my arm. Craziness. Let's try another solution here. Let's move the mouse pad up a bit. Put the ice pack on the desk itself. Wrist on ice pack, hand on mouse. Let's see how we go. Alright, so can I debrief with Kim? Tell me about the case again. Now that we've inspected the scene, I want to know more about this pissing competition you mentioned. What's there to say? It's just stupidity. What kind of stupidity? The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbour, yours or mine, as if we somehow... I've heard this before. Who runs Martinez? Well, sort of, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I already did all this before, I think. Or maybe not. For some reason I thought you had 104 solved cases. Well, technically, the lieutenant says somewhat sheepishly, the official record keeper has been known to double count murder-suicides. Common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats. So you're still a good cop, right? I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. I came because I had to. My fellow officers, the sergeants in particular, would have made this scene into a circus. Close your eyes. The rows are endless. Look for Precinct 41. Jean-Vic Marais, Judith Minot, our special consultant, what was his name? Then the rows degrade into green nothingness. So you volunteered to spoil it. Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoil sport. The lieutenant appears pleased with this. What's special about Martinez? Martinez nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about the sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist. I wonder what this says about me, that I was sent by my station. He raises an eyebrow, thinking it best to let you make the next move. It's all part of the master plan, you see. I'm a highly experimental cop. I was sent to teach you a lesson in style. There can only be one conclusion. I'm the finest case-solving machine sent to outperform you in every way imaginable. There must be an augury, an apocalyptic omen sent by my people. Can you guess my message? I must be an augury, an apocalyptic omen sent by my people. Can you guess my message? No. There will be a bloodletting of unimaginable proportions. Unimaginable. Better not to relay it. You know, actually, no, I'm not an augury. I don't know why I said that. There will be a bloodletting of unimaginable proportions. Unimaginable. Oh no, it's very imaginable. We fail to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbour company see the situation is out of control, so they bring in private military. It may be a gunship. The Union responds in strength. Automatic fire. Local law enforcement solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it can have real and calculable effects. Things can always get worse. Matter of fact, augury, we should move. Okay, enough of the competition then, tell me something else. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter, forget I ever mentioned it. 83%, white check. Who's Roy? Who's Sylvie? And I'm sorry, cop. Why did the 41st send me? Look at you, it's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Yeah, that makes more sense than the other stuff I thought of. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who shows up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win. Kim, what if my precinct set me on this case because I'm a fuck-up, like as a joke? I've considered it, his voice somber. So it's true. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional, but I also think it's somewhat unlikely. Why is that? I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. Ah, so you are their finest. I am the finest of nothing. Do you really see me as a safe bet? Safe? No, but you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together, so I don't know what it is yet, but it's there. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke, and even if they did, they are in for a surprise. Okay. So that didn't help, didn't trigger the talk to do a debrief. Or did it? End of debrief. When you're calling it a day, what does that mean exactly? Oh, she was downstairs. She's not someone I can talk to. Well, let's go back to my room here. This is the audio room. You redecorated. Good night, Lieutenant. All right, let's go. The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum, then... he lights a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, Kim. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual. Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette. How did you get so cool, Kim? The light of his cigarette illuminates a fleeting smile. You mean this? He flicks the ash. This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will. And unhealthy. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit. Below it all. Yeah, I don't want to take up smoking. Yes, he pulls on the cigarette. It's been a long and eventful day. How do you think today went? We performed a thorough initial inspection of the victim's body, so that's good. One could say it's the main thing to do in a murder. Then you shot the body down, which was, he pauses, searching for the right word, quite the shot. I was inspired by your confidence in me, Kim. I admit I wasn't sure whether I should give you the gun, but I'm glad I did. We still have to perform the autopsy, though. But we did do a thorough search of the crime scene. That's great. Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to in Martinez, he takes a deep drag and looks at the city. I wish we didn't have to do any of the interviews. People were treacherous. He sighs. One doesn't need to like the people one is interviewing. Indeed, it's better if you don't. We weren't able to find the union leader, Everett Clare, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. Sure is. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that standard Precinct 41 practice? I don't like to waste time, you know. My mind moves fast. The rest has to try to keep up. He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette. It's impressive, especially for a man of your age, and in those heels. He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles, suddenly. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. So what are our powers exactly, the RCM? They're quite limited. Actually, the power officers of the Rover Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offences, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse? Yes, although indirectly, a citizen can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. He frowns. It undermines trust in the RCM. 1,000, why not more? The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We're not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol. Okay, what else? We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. Serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. Wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up? You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up. I see, and if someone resists? As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we're permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. What happens to the people we convict? We don't convict. We arrest and then send them to coalition government courts in Tron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount, to keep them. He taps on his coat pocket, where he keeps his notes. Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty, you have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly by cross-examining you for inconsistency. It's hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. And who makes all these rules? The coalition government and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order, no more, no less. His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark. Or, perhaps it's better to say we are allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Let's say it was the citizens of Revachol. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in the city, and they'll take that away if we misuse it. Or if they think you do. The Moral Intern, what is that? The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. He pulls on his cigarette. You know who they are. They run this place after the revolution failed. I really don't know. That's how bad it is in here. Point to your head. Okay, they're a union of centre-left and centre-right parties across the Real Belt. A coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most international governments or governmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? What do they believe in? They are DeLoreans. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they're just technocrats. Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day. What is their symbol? Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that. Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. something like the dark blue, serious colour of the early night sky above. It's pissing down with rain. What's a sky? Who was Dolores Day? A historical figure, the author of the modern age, he thinks. You'll have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me. What do you think of them? The moral intern. Moralist International. Moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And, he looks at the city below, it doesn't look like that's about to happen. I have an opinion on the moral intern. Do you? The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. Things are bad out there. We need them. Done an awful job here. We're stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organisation. Mutter silently, immigrants, liberal kips, fucking men are turning me into women. On second thought, I don't have an opinion. Forget about it. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organisation protecting bourgeois rights. No, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organisation protecting the people of Rivershall. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes. Actually, vigilantes is okay with me. Then you will adore Martinez. For many of these people, the Union especially, vigilantes is precisely what we are. Personally, I don't enjoy it much. He looks at the roundabout. Say nothing, just look into the night. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. An aerostatic passes overhead. The whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Lieutenant Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks up to the sky. 2 glowing circles. Finally, he pulls on the cigarette and says, they really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno, it's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRAH. Why are they like this? It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks. And in Jamrock and the GRAH? He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky and says, we run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are, he shakes his head, but we are in control, and it's worth it. The organisation works, our systems work. If they didn't, this city would disintegrate. I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good. Me too, he says quietly, but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes. He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older. Thank you for this. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go. He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door. Autosave. Speaking of save, we're going to save. 16. I'm going to pause very briefly because I'm hearing sighs and moans and whatnot from the grandmother, so I need to go see what she's doing. I'll be right back. Well, anyone out there, if you think life gets easier when you're 97 years old, it doesn't, of course. Why not continue whinging constantly? Or when you're 97 years old and having done that for 97 years. Especially when there's nothing on the television to watch. Do I have a skill point? I do. I got a skill point. Okay. What shall we put it on? I feel like maybe... I think I'm going to go for the maximize something then. Let's do it. Just keep going on our conceptualization. It's become a master of conceptualization. All right. Can we go to bed? See you in the morning. Goodbye, Kim. Can we go back and do this mirror again? There was a white check on that I failed, I think. Well, that's a door, is it? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Okay, attempt to stop the very low. White check, you may retry it. Very low. Tool not in hand. Use your chain cutters to fix the faucet. Stop steam from fogging up the mirror. So, hang on. So how do I put the chain cutters in hand? Do I have chain cutters? Chain cutters. Held. Take that, game. We're now at 58%. Well, it's a white check, so if I fail, which I didn't, the faucet is quite terribly mangled, but you just might be able to twist its parts into place. You handle the chain cutters deftly, applying just enough pressure. The faucet regains a recognizable shape. The steam stops. Told you that you needed those chain cutters. Everything is connected. Everything has a purpose. The mirror begins to clear slowly without you having to wipe it. No more steam. So we're now down up to 8%. It's a white check though, so we might as well give it a go. Failure. It's too late. Like an image on film, the expression belongs to your primary motor cortex. It would take a minor neurological miracle for you to cease producing it. So, electrochemistry. Okay. So I actually can't redo it now until I get electrochemistry? Is that what you're telling me? Electrochemistry. Right, I understand. Physical instrument. Trash container. Who was Tommy Lom? Alright, okay. So, do we just go to bed now? Question mark. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. Continue. The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 o'clock. We're all in. Might as well. Don't have any particular reason to be scouring the city at the middle of the night. I know that there was some hint about that, but the sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come. Why? Maybe it's the bed's fault? Check the pillow. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Smells of alcohol and sweat. And grease. Check the blanket. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Just fix something over here. Saying this to done. Okay, so belly covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Bit tense in the muscles, relax. Roll over to the other side. It's a little better. Colours, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? No more thoughts, fall asleep now. Your breathing steadies, a great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming. Guess we're heading here. Oh, how symbolic. I remember nothing. I left. I don't want to come back. What is Elysium? I can come back from this. My mind is tired and broken. God, there's another type? Whoa. Damn. Good going, buddy. Is that how it's going to be now when I close my eyes? Yes, wait till you see the one with the chick in it. It's going to be a good one. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night. What chick? You don't know, some broad that messed you up. It'll come to you. It always does. What the hell is going on with me? You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. Why is this happening? It's just that your heart has finally pumped all of the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Failure. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Wait, what is speed? Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday despite your debilitating hangover. How else do you think you even got up from this floor? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect, ready to go to war against the world. No, I can take this. I am not going to go looking for speed. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically a week, let's be honest. 2 weeks, maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired. That's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead. Opt out. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark. Possibly a mistake. I'll quite happy to be an alcoholic, but speed freak? Not what I'm into. Okay, still locked. Alright. Where are we headed? What are we doing? Okay, so this one's now available again. Is that what that was telling me? Ah, right. So these 3 are available. These 2 are not available right now. Okay, I gotcha. So we're going to have to find some money all day. What I'm looking for here, who is in the union box? And oh, here we go. Interview. So I need to interview the union boss, Everett Clare, and the Wild Pines rep, who should be around here somewhere. I was wondering whether I knew where she was. Apparently I don't. Wake up, Kim. No, I can't work on that door. What about this door? Same as before. Let's go see if we can talk to the union rep. Or maybe we go try and talk. Whoa, okay, we've got a bunch of people here now. That's cool. Of course, Git Face is already up. Even it's getting up at 7:30. All right, let's talk to Kim. He gives you a quick nod. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. You point to the mess hall doors. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. Why do we need to talk to them? Everything points to the dock workers union, the belt used for hanging him, tracks in the mud, circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information. Which may of course all be wrong, but we still need to talk to them and it won't be easy. What do you mean rowdy? I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here, men who drink beer for breakfast, there's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for said policing. I think it's them. These the men Garter told us about yesterday? I completely forgot. He looks at his notes. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it, loud and nasty, just like the manager said. Ah, task complete. He crosses something out. One loose thread less to worry about, one big problem to replace it. There are so many of them, maybe we should call them reinforcements? That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the debradeurs union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep cool. Let's keep a cool head. All right? Okay. Let's roll. One more thing before we do. He glances at the booth again. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business. Yeah, streetwise, zoom right past. Do it on your own terms. But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder? They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me. Interesting. What have you got to say for yourself now, madam? The old woman turns back to the cafeteria manager. She's agitated, judging by the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edge of her blanket. Cafeteria manager appears genuinely apologetic. She turns back to you with a weary smile. Good day, ma'am. Everything all right? She sighs. Wait, what's wrong with the phone line? She frowns. Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later. Ask Garter, maybe. Why did you need to use the phone anyway? A little missing persons puzzle might be just the thing to take your mind off the hangover. Okay, I'll bite. Has your husband gone missing before? He glances out the window towards the bay. More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting. What is this expedition your husband was on? Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. They should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. She sighs. What could possibly be keeping them? Wait, who is this Gary person? Do you trust him? She smiles. Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day. Maybe your husband went off on an adventure? Goddess, no. Oh, goodness, no. Well, we did get separated once before during that monsoon in South Safra, but we were younger then, and Morel always takes the appropriate precautions. Yes, please. Some science fiction is exactly what's needed right now. Spice up that vanilla murder investigation. It sounds like police business. I'll help you find your husband. Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? The lieutenant tilts his head towards the vigilantes in the cafeteria. I did suggest we play it cool, but... It's just a little side thing, we'll do it down the line. He sighs, if you say so. Oh, thank you, officers, truly. I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. So your husband is some kind of scientist? Oh yes, she says with a pinch of pride. A zoologist? A cryptozoologist, to be more precise. What is cryptozoology? It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends. The lieutenant sounds unimpressed. That's one opinion, yes, and people are entitled to their opinions. She's used to playing off such insults casually, but they still affect her. My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby. It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. One specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species, called cryptids, is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research. The quality of research at Rover University has been on the decline, but you doubt that there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite. Tell me more about Morel, looks, character, your relationship. Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. What does your husband look like? Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. His palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle. You can't go around River Shoal feeling grown men's hands, and if you want to find her husband, you'll need more concrete information. Let's try again. Why don't you try describing him as you would one of your cryptids? Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed, you might say wild even. Lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description. One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, just in case. How long have you been married? We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Her smile is soft. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more, somehow. How did the two of you meet? Via a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and well, here we are. She smiles wistfully. She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later. I think I have all the information I need. Let's move on. I hope I've been useful. 8%. Suggestion 0. Tell me more about this rare insect your husband is looking for. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, she catches herself, but I shouldn't bore you with the entomological minutiae. Lieutenant gives you a sideways glance. No, I want to hear about the insect. Well, she hesitates. It's a phasmid, technically, but... Ah, yes, Phasmatodea. A diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of thing. Ghost insects, colloquially. Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself along the reeds here on the Insulindian coast. She looks you in the eye and nods thoughtfully, hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us officers. I knew it, the lieutenant sighs. We're going to be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists. It's not made up, officer, I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all. Does it have cool powers? Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. Her face lights up at the thought of it. It's how it's stayed hidden all these years, centuries even. What makes you think the phasmid is around here? Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looked like the reeds. Gary sent us the clipping. So a newspaper clipping is all the evidence you have? Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulindian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes sparkle behind her glasses. You seem really excited about this cryptid. I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insulindian phasmid. All scientists have their little hobby horses. So, is it dangerous? I need some water. Give me 10 seconds. Glass of water's empty. Glass of water is now 3/4 full. Ah, that's better. Is it dangerous? She chuckles to herself. Why else? No, not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Is it valuable? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Okay, what's so special about this stick bug then? Oh dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special. The woman's face flushes with embarrassment. Morrill can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure. Maybe you can convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Well, I just don't understand. If I fail this, is that something bad happens to me? And maybe I should only try it when it's much higher. I'm going to click it anyway. You're an enthusiastic idiot, but you're still an idiot. I want to know everything about cryptids, living cryptids, extinct cryptids, marine cryptids, land cryptids. Bring it on. We don't have time for cryptozoology 101. Let's get back to work, shall we? And that's all for now, ma'am. Okay. The aging cryptozoologist has been out of the reeds for too long, and his wife Lena is very worried. Maybe you can find him when you happen to be on the coast. Lena wants to know what happened to Morel. He set off southwest across the canal. Start by going there. All right, well, I think... there's something here that we need to do from asking Cuno. Is this in reverse order? I think it is. Keep searching for the caller, track down my badge, keep looking, maybe someone else knows something. Secret passage. Alright, Kuno lied to me, return to him. Let's go do that. That's the oldest thing on our list. And we'll come back to these two dudes here because we're playing it cool. Hang on a second, what's this? It's a bowl. There's spit in it, reeking of tobacco. Oh, give me that cash over here. Yeah, give me the money. Give me all the money. Photos of men in overalls, toting guns and Union placards. You see hawthorn bushes outside. Cafeteria window. Behind the dock workers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers. Very low. It's not time yet. Mysterious door seen. Oh, something to do with the store. Squint. There's a little slide panel up there to let some air in. No need to open it in spring. It's still too cold outside. Did that help at all? It didn't. It's also a white check. Well, 3%, might as well try. Failure. Nothing, just black tangles like the hair of an old woman, motionless. The wind in the yard doesn't reach the hawthorn, nor does the light come in from the window. Okay. Interesting. So I could talk to, that's, now I can talk to him, or I can talk to him, her? Her? Let's do Kuno first. The little shit. Wait, there was also something here I needed to do? Open the lid again. No, okay. What was the trash container? It was a white check. Which, was that somewhere else? Was there a trash container down here or something? What was this? Electronic doorbell. An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. Jesus Christ. I'm going to come back to that. That is just insane. Was it this that was a trash container? Maybe not. Oh, these were bottles. Oh, what was this? This Poste L'Aventure mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. Closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. A faint sticker on the side reads RCM Emergency Desk number 8102 with the slogan Mankind be vigilant. Good mail delivery box. The box seems happy. Eat shit, pig. Fucked by the cunts and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore and Bears sit mailbox also. Been there, Post L'Aventure mail collection box. Been there. That healed my morale. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow. Right. Hang on a second. So, where am I? Come out. How did I never see that stairwell before there? Anyway, back to what we were doing. I don't know why the game's being so glitchy right now. In fact, before it completely fails on me. Save. Confront the old Kuno here. I've come to ask questions. I still have a case to solve. You belittled yourself before the Kuno. Her voice is calm. She doesn't dignify you with a look. Now you must seek his forgiveness. Look, play along. Look, I want to make this right with Kuno. Make amends. Fucking what, pig? Amends, Kuno. I was wrong to try to hit you. I'm sorry. You're a cool dude. Let's bury the hatchet. It may not. Alright, you're a cool dude. Let's just bury the hatchet, okay? Cool, what? What the fuck is wrong with you? I think you broke his brain when you fucked him up, Kuno. Make truce with Kuno. You better come up with a way to make Kuno forget you tried to fucking hit him, Piggo. The material offering is implied. He wants stuff. Only stuff can make it okay again. I don't have anything. What can I offer you, Kuno? Please don't waste time on this nonsense. Don't listen to the blind fuck, Piggo. You're doing the right thing here, trying to get Kuno to like you again. He pauses to think. You can pay tribute to Kuno with drugs, or cigarettes, or some wheels. Kuno could use some wheels. Motorized carriage shit. Whatever then. What are you doing? The lieutenant's dark eyes peer into yours over his spectacles. I need to make truth with Kuno. Offer him something. No, you really don't. That is a 12-year-old boy. His opinion of you doesn't matter. You don't fucking matter, book gimp. I'm still going to mark it down as something I need to do. But why? He looks really puzzled. You're turning this into a huge thing. It's very hard for me to let things go. I know it doesn't matter, but I need to make this right. Okay, the lieutenant looks worried. If you absolutely need to, he shakes his head. But right now, let's move out. What's this saying now? Make truce. Anyway, shoot him to gain extra with knowledge. Offer him something he might like. Man from Heimdall book. Smokes. Right, so I can't... Alright, so next... we need to talk to the corpse. There's a white check on the corpse. Uh, 42% now. First, what exactly is a field autopsy? Come on, officer, we pause on paralaser. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. What you do know is at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single Épris du Sang to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. Clap your gloved hands. Let's get in there. There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. He nods approvingly. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. All right. I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact when you take notes. We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger. Well, that's right, he nods. Okay, open your ledger at the field autopsy form. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11 field info form needs filling out first. It begins with 1 assistant. That's you. Write the initials HDB. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says 2 coroner's case number. KK57083.0815. Logic. KK is Kim Kitsuragi, 57 Precinct 57, followed by his date, 8th of the 3rd, and time of arrival, 8:15 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you. And what would that make the alphanumeric? HDB 410803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? 10:15. It's understated. What does that mean? I'm just going to go 10:15. Good, let's go with that. 3, name. NA, next. 4, date of birth. NA, 5, age. The lieutenant corrects his glasses. Roughly 50. Try 40. The damage is so extensive it's better to err on the young side. I'm going to write 42. He nods. 6, race. Mondial. Fair to olive skin from the Isla of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say white-ish. Write it down. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other. 7, sex. Fucky, the little monster exclaims energetically. Male. Pig's gonna have sex. Right, male. Nor does he look male with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. 8. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th, 51. 4th of the 3rd. Well, yeah. We're in proper European order here. Perfect. What else? He looks over your shoulder. 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case. HDB 41, blah, 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 listens emotionally with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains. 11. Evidence of treatment. None, at least not after the initial examination. What exactly is treatment anyway? Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. I'm not so sure. A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hands on the corpse's chest as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature. A holdout from pre-Delorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, then we should start the post-mortem. Turn the page. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. Okay, external examination summary. Clothes, he begins. The deceased wears armoured boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrudine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. See, it's happening. Babrudine, yes, inexpensive, size M, colour white. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Write it down. The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers. In order to get to the victim's ceramic armour, officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else. When am I going to get them? Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away. There will be a window of opportunity after the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege. I don't see why I would steal the boots, to be honest, even though I've made it my quest to find all of the pieces. I'm not going to do it. Write it down. The boot has a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. It's E50 100 1000. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumeric. Cool. Excuse me. The number is purposely concealed by the design. Write it down. Tattoos. He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a colour photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. Write it down. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Colour yellow, length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Write it down. He produces a measuring tape, well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good, ambient temperature below freezing. Write it down. Body hair is light brown, distribution is consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back short. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to the touch. Wet. Stroke his hair gently. Write it down. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity. Oh, the burn! Fucking low velocity! The kid explodes. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity. The lieutenant pays no heed. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest consistent with predation. Write down, but amend for high velocity. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring, he concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature marks. You got just the right tool for that, the chain cutters. Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Pet the chain cutters. The hangman lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber-gripped cutters. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below, carefully, with as much precision as you can. See, my pig is going to fuck his head off. No, he ain't. C looks blasé. Your pig's a boring fuck. What do we got here? 28%. Nope. Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tied around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. So that's put it up to 72%. Yes, I'm Kuno's pig, I agree. You are, he says with calm certainty. The pig is Kuno's. Did that help at all? Agreement. Oh, we're 82% now. 83. Well, let's try it. We failed a 90 before. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Press down. Snap! The knot is slashed, another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it. The lieutenant kneels closer, running his fingers along the dark red groove until there's a gap. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Write it down. Chest is intact. He presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia. He pulls down the man's underpants. Now! It's gonna happen, see? I fucking knew it. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Oh, the burn! Inspect the genitals. The dead man's penis is average size, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch. Write it down and move on. The back is symmetrical and intact. He struggles to turn the corpse on its side. On his side, upper and lower extremities are intact but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty. This scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's. He nods. We have a real museum here, of battles, wars. Write it down. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Pick up the hand. The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode. If squeezed hard enough, you're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it. Hands are clean, the lieutenant says, as 5 cold sausage-like fingers slip from your hand. No sign of injury from struggling. Were we expecting any? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Write it down. He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Internal examination. Has this gone up? No. Internal examination summary. Central nervous system, he says, and then concludes abruptly, I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it, a moral to this story. If I may add the moral of this story, what would that be? He looks at you inquisitively. The dead man looks too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. Lieutenant grins. I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. I'll write NA. Good. Musculoskeletal? Is that how you say that? Musculoskeletal? Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the mouth hole, eyes squinting from the stench. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purged fluid runs down his lips, black and vicious. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night. Yeah, jack that fucker off. The hyoid bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. We've got a Jeffrey Epstein situation here. Perhaps he was strangled, then hung. Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system, he stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucose of the lips and mouth. Look inside the dead man's mouth. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight into that mouth of his. Look deeper inside. Oh, that was bad. It's hard. Once more you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow just to keep looking. Inside you see darkness, just a mess of meat and darkness. Mute silence as always. The lieutenant lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you. Hemorrhaging present in mucus, he repeats impatiently. Write it down. He wipes his brow. Hepatobiliary, Na. Why, don't we have anything? He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Obviously, I don't know what that word is either. Hepato means liver, and biliary the gallbladder and bile ducts. Am I an expert in those things? Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one. I don't think so. Neither am I. And that's it? That's it. Right, NA. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Both? Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there? Reservoirs, no, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits? The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do. Like a toxicology screening? He looks at the monster. At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request. Write NA and add toxicology requested. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood is gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with a hanging. Write it down. Gastrointestinal. He breathes a sigh of approaching release. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there. This will do. Then he touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach, voila. Write it down, keep the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries, summary. Let's see, he tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields, leave a 4th one too. Be thorough if you want maximum results. 1. Bite marks. He nods. Head, chest, and scalp bite marks injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. Oh, I'm having a hiccup fit here. It's causing my issues with my speaking. Drink more water. Get more water. Stay hydrated, kids. Write it down. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. A. Opinion. Fatal injury. B. Non-fatal. Post-mortem. It's non-fatal post-mortem. Agreed. Next injury. 2. Contusions. So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem. At maximum velocity, fucko. He has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Write it down. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. B, non-fatal post-mortem. Right, next. What's the fourth injury field for? Nothing, just in case. 3, ligature mark. Finish the autopsy. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Write it down. Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush. Opinion, fatal injury. Or is it? I just feel like what I know about hyoid bones, that a hanging doesn't break that. And I only know that from the Jeffrey Epstein case. Or am I getting that wrong? And it's a dark red abraded ligature mark. Hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark, but only 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. I'm going to go non-fatal post-mortem. The lieutenant falls silent abruptly. Why do you say that? He tilts his head. I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him. Okay, why? Why don't you think it was fatal? Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows. Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench, he covers his mouth. But you're right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Nice. He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. First, how did it go? It was he looks for the right words, an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy, but personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks. If we're lucky, I would not hold my breath. What else? If we were thorough with the list of injuries too, we described them. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say, given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy? What now? I need a copy of that autopsy form, then I will drive him to Forberg. Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages. For processing, he looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again. You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. Alright. Stop wasting time. You're smart. Didn't establish probable cause. This is now up to 58%. It is a white check, so I can do that. Try to remove the boots. I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn into some circus. Damn it, this is turning into some sort of mega puzzle. Yeah, alright, I don't need the boots. Tell me, who are you, dead man? That's 58%. I don't know. Let's give it a go. Failure again. The fish lips stay silent in response. You must be losing your mind asking him that over and over. I told you, he's male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build. Is this a white check as well? It is. I'm not going to do 17%. It's just a waste of time. If I take him away, does that mean I don't get to try and talk to him again? Fuck it, let's bag him, take him away. Okay, he unrolls the plastic. I need a little help for carrying him to the holding pen of my Kanema. I can take care of the rest. There go those beautiful enamel boots. You will never own the full set now. May they rest in processing. Oh well, in another lifetime. Yeah, if I ever choose to play this game again, which, Jesus Christ, I don't think so. Fantastic, but what am I, like 9 hours in and nothing? This game's huge. What should I do in the meantime? Continue working here. The local's the case, or tend to your own business. I will meet you downstairs at the Whirling in Rags tomorrow morning at 7:30 sharp. This means that Lieutenant Kitchery will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You're free to do side tasks and even the main case, though it might be more difficult. If you have nothing to do, read books or sit on the bench on the plaza. Bag the corpse and drag it to the motor carriage. Interesting. That's a little bit bizarre. I feel like I should have just left him there for longer. So, we have got a level up. Well, I said I was just going to keep trying to maximize things, so let's do that. Okay, send victim's body to processing. Wow. So how would I do this if... Is he always going to be in the back of the car now, maybe? I don't know. I just don't know. I guess I may have stopped myself from doing that now. None of these... Can't do that. Ah, run the serial number. Oh, his car's gone. Well, duh. So, what bench? Oh, I see. What does the bench have to do with anything? You sit on the bench, you know, wait 30 minutes, think deep, or 1 hour. Right, okay. That just moves time on. Okay, good to know. Who's this dude over here? I make my own way, tease all. Always have. It's all. Always have, always will. Well, let's just go around, see what we've got. This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book is titled Man from Him and the Wildfire. Ah, I think the kid wanted that, right? A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. I am the law. She stomps her feet to feel warmer. What kind of store is this anyway? How terribly, what's the word? Pragmatic. Descriptive. She points at the window. Books, postcards, easy. Even a kid would know all of this. Little girl, I know what a book is. Books are like very long letters with stories and so on. Nah, it feels inappropriate to lecture this girl. Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone. And don't tell me what to do. Her voice suddenly reaches your mind. Is it okay if I ask you some questions? What is your name? My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Pleasance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. And you're standing out here in the cold because I'm signaling that the store is open. She nods eagerly. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store. She doesn't seem to understand what you said. Shouldn't you be at school or something? I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. Isn't going to school more important than this? Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mom says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed. There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette. How's the business going? Mom says it's preachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being, she looks over her shoulder, cursed. Cursed? In what way? Cursed in a way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go, she's looking for the right word. Say nothing. Well, they run out of money and have to stop doing business. I don't think curses are real. They shouldn't be, but they seem real. Anyhow, they say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. They're not doomed, but your mother should learn from their mistakes. Of course, sir. She doesn't know what else to say. What is this crime business? Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. Okay, I get it. Crime murder gets the people going. She does, and it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him. I'm a policeman myself, by the way. The law, as I said. You don't look much like a policeman. She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Well, what does the cop look like then? Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. He points to a book cover on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. Not your body that's important in police work anyway. It's your point to your head. Head, yes. No, your mind. Not head, child. Heads. A quicksilver mind. This Mullen guy looks like he needs 4 hours just to come up with a single idea. He gazes at the image of Dick Mullen, frowning. No, he's wicked smart in the stories. Sure, when the author does all the thinking for him, real policemen have to think and act on their own. Like you, sir, of course. She smiles mischievously. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. The cover image of Dick Mullen seems to stare at you with harsh disapproval, like in the books. Okay. What is romance? It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in that situation. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about a man and lady business, sir. What about when everyone is poor? Oh, the bow collector's coming. That's really not a proper romance story, and that's more like everyday life. Sometimes you have to write about real life things. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. What about a poor man getting a rich lady? It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. I see. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out fine in the end. What about when both of the men are bad? These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. No one wants to read a story like that. What if it's written really well? Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all? I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mom. Yeah, you think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup? I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. She pauses, trying to figure out the appropriate answer. No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination, only it's really long and drawn out, scarred for life, phantom limb. No, I don't know. She looks at you with puzzlement. Doesn't ring a bell? Alright, I'll ask your mum. Yes, she nods relief. She knows books, definitely. What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain? It's enough romance for me. I had other questions. Maybe some about other books. She rubs her chilled nose with her fist. Who are these famous people? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. Scratches her cold reddened cheek, then continues. I think that's why people read them, to find secrets of their fame. Seems like most people who read the books fail to get more famous from reading them. Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it? But it does make the famous people more famous, she smiles gleefully. Fame is for vain people. I have better things to do. Okay, sir, she stamps her feet, waiting for what comes next. 83%. Okay, I'm going to deduce something now. The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that? Hey, why do you keep your hands folded? What do you mean, sir? She looks wary. You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. It's okay. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails are frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh. You bite your nails. And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? She shoots you a suspicious glance. Here are a few other hints. Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that. Her eyes flash with defiance. She's not impressed. Want more? Bet I can figure out why you bite your nails. I've got a few reasons in mind. She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic. You're up top because of your mother and the rest is putting on you. Rats have been nibbling on your fingers. Child labour is chewed on nails means you're recycling your body. It's intensification of the way of the business. There are no riches without personal sacrifice. You're uptight because of your mother and the pressure she's putting on you. Dismay flickers in her eyes. Maybe so, sir, she sighs. Okay, I know, it's a bad habit and I shouldn't. I hope this entertained you. It was okay, sir. She's still got a rebellious streak. There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same. You think so? Fine, do better. Deduce something about me. You're quite sober, she snaps back quickly. I'm also sad and my head hurts. I'm sorry, sir. She looks at you in the eye, sympathy gleaming in her face. I hope things get better soon. There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar somehow. There's something you're missing. 17%. What are you missing here? Why does this feel familiar? The white check. You have absolutely no idea. Familiar how? You must have forgotten something you heard again. Okay, bye. See you around, Annette. The Bow Collector. It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face, a delicate composition of triangles. The street seems to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shape growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you. Carrying your signals. The holy messenger. +3 shivers. The third presence. Okay. So, I should probably... Well, I can't do another one, can I? It's unlockable, but I don't have the spot for it. Oh, that's fine. That's good to know. So what's shivers? Shivers. Tune into the city. Cool for city lovers, the wisest of the streetwise, the genuinely supernatural. Okay, good to know, good to know. Alright, I think it's time to save the game as 18, and because I am now struggling to speak, it's time to pack it up. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, we can hopefully not spend 6 months in between drinks here. We'll maybe get to this